A list in R is actually a more complex object, and it consists of an ordered collection of objects known as its components. These are really powerful and very useful because you can now create a data structure that has different types of objects within it. So consider a list like an array in which each element of the array has a completely different structure. We have an example here. We might have the first element of a list has just the number 2, but the second element of a list has a complete data frame. The third element list has a numeric, the fourth element of the list a Boolean, the fifth element of the list can contain a full matrix, the sixth element of a list contains a vector, and the seventh element of a list here contains another list. So you can store any different type of information within each element of the list. Now, creating a list is done by using the list function. So here we have an example building from our previous where we created a data frame of students, and we have another object here of a matrix. So we create in this third line a list called X, and we use the list function. And now what we do is we're going to build out our list. So the first element of the list is a 2. The second element of the list will be the data frame. The third element of the list is a numeric 7.0. The fourth element of the list is the Boolean true. The fifth element of the list will be the matrix that we created in the line above, B. In the sixth element of the list, we've created a my vector, and we've put my vector in, which you don't see here on this slide. And we created another list somewhere, and we put that into the 7th position of the list. If we print an entire list where we just output the list, you will basically see something that looks like this. Bracket, bracket, 1, bracket, bracket. That is the first element of the list. So this is what distinguishes the data frame and matrix from a list. It's the double bracket notation. So as you can see, bracket, bracket, 1, bracket, bracket in this line is the first element of the list, and it has one item in it, which is the number 2. The bracket, bracket, 2, bracket, bracket is the second element of the list, and it shows you the entire data frame. And this process repeats over and over. So when we're referencing a particular element of the list, we will always reference it using the double bracket notation. So accessing the elements of the list requires the 2 sets of brackets. So as we created it before, we have X equals list, and we've created our list. So to access the first element of the list, we will do X bracket bracket 1 bracket bracket. That will return the first element in the list. If we do X bracket bracket 2 bracket bracket, it returns the data frame, which was in the second element of the list. Similarly, we can assign using the same notation. Here we do X bracket bracket 3 bracket bracket equals data frame. That would replace the third element in the list with the data frame df. List elements can also be named using the names function. Here we have names X equals the vector of character strings, record, table 1, index, active, scores, friends, and extras. And it will create the list object names for every element in the list. The list can then be referenced using the name of the element if we want. We can do $, active, and it will return true, which is the fourth element of the list. So it provides us with another way of accessing the elements. So in this way, lists are very complex, they're very versatile, and they provide a lot of flexibility for developers and statistical developers to create these complex objects for use